Great, and it shows that we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Just give me a second while we change things up. All right, well, we are ready, and I know we're a little bit behind. I was having some tech issues, so I just wanted to get started. Give a quick shout out. I see our board chairman, Brian Dice, is on here with us. For those of you that are starting to tune in, I kindly ask you to give us a thumbs up or a comment so I know who you are, and I can give you that shout out and recognition you deserve for dropping what you're doing and tuning into our broadcast. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to be here today to give some love and support to one of our area nonprofits. But before I go into detail on that, you know that I like to give not only shout outs to you for being on here, but the basic housekeeping. So if you've heard this before, I know that you'll kind of tune me out. If this is on your first time on our page, please make sure that you hit the like button, you hit the follow so that you can get those alerts when we do go live, when we post fresh content on our page. If you are a returning user and you don't ever get really alerted and then you figure out where our videos are later on, you're like, what the heck's going on? You're likely not following the page. So make sure you hit the follow button so you can get those timely alerts. At the same time that we are streaming this on our YouTube channel, we are also streaming it here on Facebook. You can find a wealth of our videos dating back into March on the video section of our Facebook page at any point in time. If you have nothing better to do on a weekend, feel free to binge watch with some popcorn and comment with the hashtag replay when you do rewatch something. Now, if you are not tech savvy or you know somebody that's not tech savvy and isn't signed up on any of the social media platforms, please direct them over to our Westminster Chamber Resource Hub, where they can find a lot of these videos and updates at city, state, and county level as it relates to COVID. I've included that in the comment section of this broadcast. And the comments is really the main way that we will interact with you. We like to be very informal and have you help guide the conversation with us. And to do that, we need to make sure that you are commenting along the way. Now, I've pulled up one of those comments that came to us from Brian Dice sharing his good morning message. Most of you, if you're watching on your computer or your tablet, you'll be able to see the comment feature. Use that for any comments that you glean from the broadcast, any compliments, because we like those as well, or any questions in general, whether it's about this specific nonprofit, how they've handled things, or in general about the industry. And we'll do our best to be able to address those at the end of the broadcast. Now, of course, I would like to go ahead and introduce who our speaker is today. We've been doing these nonprofit corners for about going on 3 months now. This will be our third month of actually hosting these every Thursday, where we feature a nonprofit that's plugged into the chamber, into our community, that's doing some great work. The Standley Lakes Boosters Club for the Standley Lake High School that's here. Many of you have seen them. They've been a great resource. And with us today, we have Greg and Nicole Croy to share a few words about the organization, maybe get you a little bit more familiar if you didn't know about them, and then tell you how they overcame some of COVID, how COVID affected them, and then we'll banter back and forth about ways that we can continue to support them moving forward. So with that, Greg and Nicole, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and have you guys take it over, but I do appreciate you being on here with us.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Greg Croy. I'm president of the Standley Lake High School Boosters Club. And basically what Boosters is, we are a 501c3 volunteer-run organization that supports Standley Lake students and clubs and activities along with the sporting groups and all that. So our mission is to foster a community and support all the students, athletic teams, clubs, and activities at Standley Lake. The bulk of our support is financial, and it's made possible through fundraising and membership dues. So I'd like to, Nicole will kind of elaborate.
Hello. So I'm Greg's better half, and also I'm the coordinator of the Jog in the Bog, which is one of the Boosters' main fundraisers, which I'll talk about a little bit here in a moment. But really quickly, I think to start out, I want to give a little bit of a landscape of kind of what the high school environment looks like currently in this COVID world. Standley Lake High School's enrollment is up slightly. We have just under 1,300 students this year. Unique to this year, we actually had 75 new families move into the community, which is up quite a bit. That was a little bit unusual. So definitely families have been moving around. Of our student population, 80% are currently attending what is considered hybrid school. So those students attend in-person school 2 days a week and then online schooling 3 days a week. And they alternate those days to minimize the amount of cohorts and number of students that are actually in the school building at the same time. The other 20% of students are 100% remote, and so they are doing their online learning 5 days a week, obviously like something similar to this. Per Jeffco school guidelines, there are no school gatherings, functions currently available, allowed. Also, volunteers and guest parents are not allowed in the school building. So this has really impacted boosters and how we're used to operating. It's really limited our in-person opportunities, especially in membership recruitment. And so we've had to kind of adapt a little bit, get a little creative. We've really been leaning on social media, trying to get it out there to recruit our members, because all of our membership dues go to a scholarship that we are able to afford Stanley Lake graduating seniors each year to help them in their secondary education journey. So we really try to not only recruit for the financial side of it, but also, we're a volunteer organization, so many hands make for light work. And so that's where we really are struggling with kind of getting involvement and just being able to traditionally, we'd be able to set up a table at back to school night, meet those new families, like I mentioned, and be able to face interact. And so we're really trying to get creative about that. In addition to membership, we do raise funds. We host 2 large fundraisers each year. The first being a golfing tournament, Golfing for Gators, which I know many of our chamber members thankfully have supported us, which we really appreciate each year. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we did have to cancel that in May. We were under really tight stay-at-home restrictions, and so there was no way to get that off. We're planning and hopeful that we'll be able to have that this spring of 2021. So definitely stay tuned, because that is a great way for chamber members to engage and help support us with that fundraiser. Our other second large fundraiser is the Jog in the Bog, and we host that each fall. It's a community-based, family-friendly 5K run walk that we usually host at the school. Kind of taking the lead of some of the other races and running organizations out there, we have moved the Jog in the Bog to a virtual version this year. This will be the 22nd year for the Jog in the Bog. So there's a lot of tradition and history behind that race. And so we really wanted to make sure that it continues. We also wanted to give our community, an opportunity to still celebrate and become engaged with the school again. I know kind of the consensus feeling is everybody feels very disconnected. And with our mission as boosters of really fostering that community, we're trying to get creative in how we can continue that. So with the virtual race, participants register, and then they're just asked to complete a 5K distance with any physical activity that they choose at a time and a place that's convenient to them, and they earn their commemorative Jog in the Bog t-shirt. Again, speaking to how we're still trying to foster that community, we also are using social media and asking anyone that completes the race to share a photo of themselves and their family and tag it with hashtag 2020 Jog in the Bog. Registration is currently open for that race until November 1st. So if anyone out there is looking for that extra little push or nudge to get some extra physical activity in, we'd love for you to register. You can find out all those details on StanleyLakeBoosters.com. And then, in addition, we're kind of in that world of, adaptability and being open to new ideas, trying to think outside the box. I think both, the theme for both for-profit and nonprofits right now is really adaptability, but also collaboration. And so, we're really open to new ideas and looking to how we can collaborate to find mutually beneficial opportunities for both us to support the high school and our students, and also our local Westminster businesses. And so really, if you have any ideas for us, or you would like to sign up for the Jog in the Bog or become a business member with Standley Lake Boosters, we'd love for you to do that. And I think Greg will provide information on how to do that.
Well, yeah, thanks again for the opportunity to share with the chamber. If anyone's interested in joining Boosters, we just need to go to the website, or if you have any sponsorship opportunities or any ideas, like Nicole said, teaming up with the businesses, or let's getting creative. Again, you can email me at slboostersgreg@gmail.com. So again, that's slboostersgreg@gmail.com. And we're open for anything. Again, it's all for the students. So Juliet, that's all we got.
Yeah, well, with that, I'll go ahead and just quickly take it over. I see a lot of people that have tuned in with us. Jason Gang, Counselor DeMont that's on here, Parker Brown, and a couple other people that are tuning in. Just some quick notes from them. Parker's sharing his good morning message to you and to Standley Lake. We also have Counselor DeMont, who I know lives nearby, and if I'm not mistaken, Counselor DeMont's daughter is also connected to the high school as well. So thank you for hopping on here and being informed about one of our area nonprofits and what they continue to do in our community. I've typed up a significant amount of who the Standley Lakes Boosters Club is, how their nonprofit was affected in terms of their events and their membership into the comment section of this broadcast. We have with us Greg and Nicole Croy. Greg leads the Boosters Club as their current president. So Greg, we're going to go ahead and take a step back, right? And I want to give some more information about the organization as a whole to people that are tuning in, may not be familiar, may not have kids that are in the system, and just to better understand how everything looks. So the club itself, it obviously has leadership, which you are a significant part of, and you are relying on volunteers to make sure that membership and the events are being raised, etc. Who are some of the other? Do you have officer roles that are with you, or do they have to be parents of children that are either current or have graduated and passed? What does that look like as far as structurally for your organization?
I've been this is my second year with the Boosters, and basically what we've found is, it's mostly parents that have students enrolled in with the high school. We had 4 people leave our Boosters program, officers and just at-large members, because their students graduated. So each year there is an opportunity for new board members to join. We're excited for that, each year, just because it's new ideas. It's not the same group of people, year in and year out. This is my first full year of taking over as president. And again, it's all about the kids, and what we try to do is get someone from each group. We have band members, we have activities members, we have athletes, and we do have a very good relationship with the administration at the school. Joe Generos is the athletic director. He has got our back 100%, along with the principal, Mr. Rego. So it's a good working that we have going on.
With that being said, we would love to have community members part of the organization. It's definitely not limited to that you have to have a student currently attending Standley Lake High School. If there are business members out there or just community members looking for a way to get involved and support the great things that are happening at Standley Lake High School, that's definitely an opportunity. There is a board of 8 members. And there are currently vacancies so if anyone is out there looking to get really involved, the organization meets once a month, the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Currently, it is done via Zoom. So, it's a great and convenient way to reach out and be able to get involved in the community.
Now I see where you both are like really dynamic together, because Greg's giving me this, bigger holistic picture, and I've got Nicole, who's my detail oriented, and I love it. I love that because we're getting the best of both worlds with this. So let's touch a little bit on the membership component. So we talk about that this is generally parents, right, or people that are involved or have an interest in the school. What are we seeing in terms of longevity with them? Are they paying a membership? That's one. So I guess this is a 2-part question. Is their membership a one time and that's it? Is it a continual annually? And then the second question to that is, how many of them do you see continue forward with you past just that initial time? Are they canceling out once their kids graduate, et cetera?
So it is a 1 yearly annual membership of $20 per family or business, and that is renewed annually. And then as a member, you do receive exclusive information on becoming sponsors for those two larger fundraising events that we have, which then has an additional sponsorship fee associated to them. But like with the Jog in the Bog being the 22nd year, we have some, landmark sponsors each year. And so it is a really great opportunity for business organizations to get their name out and their advertising to the Stanley Lake community. Um, Also, we have opportunities in the non-COVID world with advertising in the gymnasium, providing, program ad placement. So there's definitely benefits becoming a member because you do have those advertising opportunities. As far as continuing and longevity, like I said, we do have several members that year over year we can count on for that support. And we do have a lot of alumni parents that continue to, want to continue to support the school and will become members each year.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And to your point about how some area businesses can support or plug in and really ensure that you guys continue providing the services that you do. Don't know if you know Parker Brown, but Parker is over at Carrabba's, and he is actually our Westie Achiever for this very reason. You see that he's already posted in and said, let him know how he can help you guys. He's helped boosters in the past. I mean, just always had that heart of serving others. So if you guys are interested, I will tag the Boosters Club. I'll also tag both of you, if that's okay, onto this video so you can make sure that you connect with some of these folks that might have dropped an interest in here. So we talked a little bit about the events that you've had, and obviously you've had to cancel one of your major ones that you had earlier on. The second one that's going to be more virtual that we have about 5 days for folks to still register for at their convenience, which I honestly have done so much more walks this year than I have in probably in forever. And I'm not complaining because, it's a nice way to not only raise awareness, you're supporting organizations, and you're making sure that they continue past just where we are today. With that, there's about 5 days you mentioned that people can register. You also mentioned there's shirts. So in the 5 days, if they're like last minute registering, are they still having access to shirts if they register, right? What do your numbers look like? So historically, what is the involvement on this type of event? And then what does it look like today as far as it being virtual? Because it is a different dynamic.
Absolutely. And actually, because of where our participation numbers are currently, we are extending the registration window. So registration will go through November 1st. So anyone that registers before November 1st will be guaranteed a commemorative Jog in the Bog t-shirt. Currently, we're looking at probably 25% of registration where we were for the race last year. Traditionally, the race brings in anywhere from 300 to 400 participants. So, definitely down, and that's why we kind of made the decision since they're, a virtual race, you have a lot of flexibility. There are some benefits to some of the changes. That's why we're going to extend the registration and participation window through the rest of this month of October.
And what are you thinking? So are we thinking that, are people just apprehensive because it is a change in the type of event that it is? Or are we feeling like they might not understand where our dollar is going, right? And so if it's the latter, then we want to help educate them on what that looks like, right? And so let's expand a little bit on, what that dollar does for the organization, for the kids. And in terms of COVID, right? Because COVID's opened up this door of additional needs among our student population. Has there been any collaboration from the Boosters Club with other, whether it's foundations or other organizations or administration itself, to make sure that the students are served?
Absolutely. So Greg mentioned Joe Generos, who is the athletic director at Standley Lake High School. He attends all of our booster meetings and provides updates, and it's very much a two-way communication. We also have a great working relationship with Todd Rago, the principal, and anytime there's a need, they definitely know that Boosters is an organization that they can count on. When you talk about where the dollars are actually going, we actually have a couple really great announcements that we were able to make at the beginning of this school year. Thanks to a lot of really great fundraising over the past couple of years, we were, as a boosters organization, able to make several substantial donations. back to the school. One being thanks to the 5B bond funding that came through for Jeffco schools last year. The football field and track have been renovated and redone. There were a lot of drainage issues, and we still were one of the very few high schools in Jeffco that had a gravel track. So thanks to our voters that supported that bond issue, we were able to put in a rubberized track and to put in a synthetic football field. And so that money, that construction money came from the bond issue, but the school wanted to also put in a new scoreboard for the JV and lower level football games that would be hosted at the school. And softball, yes. So Boosters was able to help fund both of those scoreboards. Additionally, a $10,000 donation was made to the high school for upgrading library furniture. And I know that sounds crazy, but anybody that has been at Standley Lake High School, I know the chamber hosted an event there a couple of years ago. The furniture in the library is literally from 1988 when the school had opened. There have not been any improvements or additions. And so that was a priority that we had heard from students as well, just having some pride and feeling like the school was getting a little bit of a freshness update. And so Boosters was able to provide $10,000 to support that project. Additionally, kind of the last piece that we have going on right now is with the goal of supporting all organizations. Boosters has a matching grant program open. So any teacher, club, sports team, any organization associated with the high school can apply for funding up to $1,000 for any specific needs that they have. So an example of an application that came in, one of the physics teachers that has had to transition to teaching online, she was having a hard time diagramming large physics equations out online to her student. She needed the simple tablet device to allow for sketching. It cost $80. She put in an application to Boosters for us to be able to support that. And she teaches 5 sections of physics. So you look at the impact of 30 students, what she's able to do to improve not only her teaching. So those are some of the examples of where the funding is and how we want to support the students in the school.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that I am one that loves examples. So as soon as you said, here's a classroom that's actually used it and how they've used it fully, I think that's terrific that you're able to do that. And wow, at the impact that you guys are making. And I knew when I asked that question, right? Because often whenever people see that they're giving money, they don't necessarily where it's going. They don't know necessarily where it's going, where that dollar makes an impact. That question was poised so I could hear some of these goals that you're accomplishing, and you are doing so much. And yes, furniture in libraries does matter. Those are filthy things that stay on kids' minds, and if it is not encouraging them or a welcoming environment, they won't go there and use it. And so much of what we do on a day-to-day basis is impacted by feelings, by senses, by the emotions that we have as it relates to smell, sight, and sound. And so that's just one component of making them feel a part of it. But it's also nice to see that there's synergy, right? So there's synergy between your organization and both the principal's office and the administration, that there, should they need any assistance, that you guys can be able to provide that resource to them. Now, we talked a little bit about how we moved our event to virtual for the secondary one. There's been an extended deadline that's on it. Here's the amazing work that you've done for the Standley Lakes Boosters. We've commented that into the comment section of this broadcast. If I have been off on any of my numbers, please pay attention to what you hear more than what you read, because sometimes I frantically type it in and I'm not the best typer when I'm doing that. That being said, what, if any, has there been a need at all for health and safety measures to be implemented for your organization now that there hasn't really been much interaction between the organization and the parents, and even between the board members, since most of them are now in that virtual meetup realm?
Yeah, I mean, we've moved completely to virtual, and so we really haven't had that need. We have inquired with the school to know, are they good with PPE? And, it was discovered that the district has really been supplying that. And so there hasn't really been a need that we've been aware of.
Well, excellent. So is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you were burning to say and you're hoping that I was going to ask you? If so, now is the time for you to touch base on it before I start wrapping our broadcast up.
We just want to say thanks for the opportunity to talk to the chamber. again, anything that you guys have for us, we're open ears and see if we can get something together. We'd love to team up with some local restaurants and businesses. I know Carrabba's is a big one with Jog in the Bog in the past, so it's been a pleasure working with them. And yeah, anything that we can move forward would be wonderful.
Excellent. Well, thank you too. Yeah.
I was going to say, those mutually beneficial opportunities, we're all going to get through this together. And so if we can support you by you supporting us, we want those opportunities. We look forward to it.
Yeah, well, excellent. Thank you so much. I'm feeling very godly right now. The sun is shining and I'm starting to get washed out. So hopefully you guys were paying attention to what they were saying more than you were as I'm over here fiddling my camera trying to move around. I admire the work that you guys are doing. Standley Lake Boosters Club has been a partner of ours for, I want to say, as long as we've been around, so for over the 7.5 years. And I think that speaks volumes because you're not only trying to connect with the business community, but you're trying to educate everyone on the importance behind your organization and what you're doing. So it's been that mutually beneficial relationship that we've had. Our board chairman, Brian Dice, is sharing that this is great information for the chamber and for our local businesses that would like to support the community any way that they can. Very early on, we used to be able to promote a lot of your events, especially the one that has been canceled. That being said, the one that's coming up, we're happy to get that out on our channels, on our event page, and hopefully raise the attendance on it, because I think there's so much room, right? There's opportunity for people to register and be out there and be supportive. But also for those people that are tuning in, we also shared about how there are board vacancies right now, and the timeline as far as when they meet up, that it's virtual. I've included that into the comment section, and you do not have to be affiliated necessarily with the school in any way. So you don't have to have a child that's in the district or specifically with the high school. Just have that passion to support the work that provides to make your application in supporting the work of the Standley Lake Boosters High School Club. Please make sure that you hit the share button on this video so that it can get out to your network. If you end up watching this video and it's no longer live, because I know sometimes people watch this, they think it's live, they're like commenting and everything, know that whatever comments that you post out there, whether it's comments or questions, we will get answered for you at a later point in time. Or if you tuned in and it was later on that you're like, oh, I just remembered this out of the broadcast, maybe I should have asked them. We want to hear what this is. And so the best way to do that is by commenting it. You can also DM it to the page or connect directly with our guests. I'll be sure to tag them into the broadcast for you so that you can know who they are, their contact information, and that you can support them along the way and into the future. I think now more than ever, I always close this out by saying now more than ever, our nonprofits are doing more with less, and we want to make sure that they not only are here today, but that they're here for the long haul. So I do encourage you guys to support them in any way that you can. For those of you that tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in for half an hour. Of course, to Greg and Nicole, I so appreciate you for spending the day with us, for spending about 30 minutes of the day to share a little bit more about your organization, what you've been doing, and the amazing success that you've had. We'll be back on here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Now, tomorrow's broadcast is generally for my updates, or I've had it geared toward voting and elections and things like that. I intentionally have left it blank because there are updates from the chamber, and I want to share with you guys because I haven't done a Fact Friday in video in a while. So we've been getting a lot of questions about programs and events and what things look like, especially toward the end of the year, since it's usually our busier time. Tune in tomorrow for our Fact Friday video chamber updates by yours truly. I hope to see you at 11 a.m. And of course, again, thank you to both of our guests. Please stay on here with me while I close this out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course.